and good evening, everyone. I'm Katie McManus, business strategist and money mindset coach, coming to you live on the Facebooks, on LinkedIn, YouTube, and on Instagram. And hello, James. I see you joining on Instagram. Great to have you tonight. So tonight I want to talk about something that gets completely jumped over in all of the business building courses and the books, the Harvard MBA program. I don't think they have a class on this, but it is one of the most important skills that you can possibly have. Hi, Chastity. Hello. And just James over on Instagram, just know I just can't show your comments because Instagram doesn't speak that way, but I get to show anyone who comes through on LinkedIn. So hello, welcome. Great to have you. But yes, one of the things that is going to be the biggest indicator of your success as a business owner. Hi, Yvonne. Yes. So great to see you again. Is being in touch with your intuition. Honestly, so being in touch with your intuition, I know this sounds super woo, and there's like no business book that I can point to and be like, see, this is the good advice. Like, this is where it's coming from. But seriously, that voice inside you knows some shit. And I think we have been taught, especially if we've grown up in the Western world, we have been raised to always look for external validation that what we think is right. Okay. It doesn't matter if it was in school, if it was in relationships, if it was in jobs, constant barrage of demanding you show your proof. Show your proof for why you think that. Show your proof for like why you have this instinct that you should be doing this thing. Right. It's kind of like Working Girl. I don't know if you guys ever saw that movie with Melanie Griffith. Such a good movie. But anyway, so, she has to like really talk about how she got her idea, but her idea like was, completely out of left field, right? It was intuition that brought her to it. There's this instinct that we have to be able to tap into to be successful business people, to be able to run a business and to be able to recover when our energy gets completely warped, right? So I want to talk through a couple of different scenarios where your intuition can actually help you get either back on track or completely blow it out of the water. And I want to talk through a couple of exercises that I actually practice on the daily that helps me get in tune with my intuition. Hello, Northern State Aesthetic Studio. Welcome over on Instagram. So first and foremost, when you're starting the business, when you have an idea and you know what you want to do and you have an idea of the service and you have this instinct that you should do this, that like it's possible and you might succeed. And actually, now that you think you might, you're pretty sure you can do this. Yes, that can absolutely just be like some crazy voice in your head, but I will actually bet you some good money that is your intuition that knows what is capable for you. And hi, Heather, welcome. There's that voice in your head, and it's not just in your head, it's throughout your whole body, right? When we are guided by our intuition, the way I like to describe it is it's almost like I'm just going to point to my stomach here. It's almost like there's this magnet like in us, like just behind, like below our rib cage. And it's like drawing us towards something. Like we just almost can't help but be drawn towards that thing. Right. I know when I was kicking around in my mind, like I want to start a business. I was constantly drawn to bookstores, to like the business section of the bookstore and to the books that I thought might help me. I was constantly drawn towards people who I thought might be the people who could help me start my business. It was compulsive. Like I couldn't have helped it if I wanted to. It's very similar to those people who are like, drawn to fashion stuff or drawn to art or drawn to science. It's this compulsion, and that compulsion is your intuition. It's trying to drive you to do the thing that it knows you can do. All right. You can absolutely ignore this, but this is your spirit's calling. I am a firm believer of that. If you ignore it, you are actually ignoring your calling. You're ignoring the gift that you were brought to this world to give to the world. Right? Like, and that's really fucking selfish if you do that, right? Right? If you were brought here specifically to offer whatever gift it is that you have, whatever perspective it is that you have, and you don't do it because you're scared, because you're being a weenie, That sucks, dude. Don't do that. Trust your intuition. If your intuition thinks you can do it and is putting you in places and in front of people that can help you make it happen, that's telling you something. Yes, Heather, you're ignoring your higher self 100%. 100%. And like, here's the thing. Because we've been trained so well by the Western world to constantly look for external validation that what we think or what we want to do is correct and okay, we tend to gaslight ourselves and we don't listen to our hearts. We don't listen to that higher self. We don't listen to our guts, which people, they've done a lot of research over the last couple decades. We do, like, we have neurons in our brains. Sorry, I have mosquito bites in my hair right now. I went to this like meet and greet with the governor this evening, which sounds really fancy, but there were so many mosquitoes and I could just feel them biting me. So if I'm like scratching my head, it's that. It was so glamorous. Anyway, but anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So we have neurons in our brains, obviously, and we know about this. Like, we learned this in science class. But what they don't teach us is that we also have neurons in our heart tissue, and we also have neurons in our digestive tracts. And those neurons do thinking. Okay. They do store memories. They do assert truths. And I'm a firm believer that the neurons in your heart are your inner leader or your higher self or whatever it is that you feel aligned to, in the verbiage there. Oh, hello, ADHD. Yeah, 100% here, Heather. You know this well. You've been on meetings with me many a times. Anyway, and then, of course, your gut. Like, I know George W. Bush. I know I'm going to bring in George W. Bush. He got made fun of a lot for saying he knew something in his gut. But you know what? Like, we do know stuff in our gut. Like, maybe he was wrong about the thing that he knew in his gut, but we know stuff in our gut. We really do. So trust yourself. Trust yourself. Like, when you're feeling off track, like, one of the most important things that you need to do is bring yourself back so you can get in touch with your intuition. This is one of the reasons why I strongly recommend a meditation practice or something that like realigns you to your spirit or your higher self as you're starting the business, right? Because you're going to have stressful days. You're going to have days where you think, oh my God, I fucked up everything. Everything's going wrong. I'm not going to be able to recover from this. What should I do? And you're going to constantly want to look for external answers. And let me tell you, no one has the answer for you. No one does. You do. Okay. The only person who can answer those questions for you is you, right? But you have to be listening. Oops. Luna, no barking. Come on, please. Oh, no. Luna, out. Okay. Excuse me while I evict my dog from the room. Okay. Out you go. See you later. Bye. Anyway. Welcome to my ADHD show, everyone. I hope you're enjoying. Let me see. My own squirrel moment here. Any of us ever think that we look back on W nostalgically on W? Oh, I know. On George W. Oh, I forgot what I was talking about for a second there. I know. I honestly, like, I would love to invite him and Laura over for dinner. Like, just, show me your paintings, George. Like, we really miss you. We could use you. We could use you in the public service nowadays. Please, thank you. But yes, I agree with you 100%. Anyway, so you're going to need to come back to center as you're starting your business, as you're scaling your business. I don't cry as much now, but I still cry a lot. Okay. Crying is a part of starting a business. I've been writing a book for years now, and I swear to God, like, there has to be a whole chapter in there about crying. It's such a huge part of it. But really, like, whatever it is that helps you get back in touch with yourself, you need to build a practice around it, or else you will never be able to get this business up and running. Okay. If things can throw you off, and you're off, like, you're not going to be able to go and act from your intuition, from your higher self. And the business just isn't going to be aligned to who you are at that point. Okay. So your intuition is so important for recovery, but also also, like, let's talk about like all the fun parts of running a business. Let's talk about all the great ideas that we get, all the ways that like we imagine we can help clients, all the talks we come up with, like the book ideas, the program ideas, the ideas for like social media content. Where the fuck do you think that comes from? Like, that doesn't come from like the fear part of your brain. That comes from your intuition. That comes from the part of you that like has like giggles just kind of bubbling up your throat. Okay. It comes from the part of you that has fun with this. Okay. What part of you do you think has fun? It's not the language part of your brain. Okay. It's not the problem solving part of your brain. It's not any of those things. It's your intuition. It's that higher self. Like, the only way you get to actually have fun in your business is when you are in tune with your intuition, right? So several ways that I utilize my intuition in my business. I actually love using my intuition to help me figure out what kind of content I should be putting out that day. So I'll actually do a meditation where I just imagine like I'm sending out like feelers or like energy to my ideal clients. And I'm just sensing, what is it that they need to hear from me today? And it's wild. It is absolutely insanely wild when you do this and you get like this ping of, wow, they need to hear that. I never would have thought of that. And then you write the post, you put it out there in the world, and someone DMs you and they're like, how did you know I needed to hear that today? Someone you've never spoken to in your life. It's happened to me numerous times. And it's such a weird experience, but it is absolutely something that happens. And I can't recommend it enough. This is something that when my clients tell me that they love using intuition in their business, I love being able to show them this practice because it is a lot of fun. And it really is like a way for you to get in touch with your deeper knowing. Okay. Another way I use my intuition in my business is when I work with clients. Like, yeah, I have a lot of knowledge and yeah, I have a lot of experience and I train them on a lot of things, but sometimes they're saying something and I'm like, okay, there's something under the surface here. What is it? Or I'm getting this intuitive hit here that actually you shouldn't be doing this. You should be doing this thing over here. And it's wild. Like, and of course, like, it's my intuition. I'm not saying like, this is the truth and like, I'm going to shove it down your throat. But what I always love is when people are like, it's not quite that, but it's related to that, when we're working with clients, like, I think a lot of us, especially early on in your work, you tend to get wrapped up in, I need to be able to verify that I am the expert and I am right about everything. And like, sure. Yeah, like you should be right about most things, right? Like you should know how to do stuff. You should like be qualified. But there comes a point where you realize like you no longer have to prove that you're qualified. All right. And that's the point where you get to start tapping into your deeper knowing in your client work. All right. And it's so funny when I work with clients who are really intuitive and who have this inner knowing. And it's like they've kept it a secret for a really long time. And because maybe they were made to feel weird about it, or some people were like, what are you, a witch? And they're almost a little embarrassed about it because it's been shoved down and like gaslit for so long. And when I start doing that in my sessions with them, and I'm like, hold on, like, I'm just getting this intuitive hit that like, you need to be sending this email to this kind of person, or you need to be on a stage talking about this, and this. And they're like, oh my God, where did you get that from? Because literally there's something going on in my life that's like that. And then like fast forward 20 minutes, like, wait a minute, you just used your intuition. Like you didn't know anything about that. How did you know that? And like the dots start connecting for them that if I'm doing it with them, maybe with some permission, because they always ask me permission, which is so funny, they can do it with their clients, which of course, if you're watching this and you work with clients and you have intuition and you get intuitive hits and you keep them to yourself, I hereby give you all the permission in the fucking world to use that intuition with your clients. Okay. I offer that to you. Use it. Offer it. When we offer an intuition about like what we're getting from the client and like where we think they might want to go next or what we may want to work on, we're not owning it as correct. We're saying, hey, listen, I'm offering this intuition. It doesn't have to be right. I won't be offended if you don't want it, or if it's not true for you. But the more you do this, you will be shocked the amount of times you'll be spot on. Okay. Now, the other way I love using my intuition is just like in my goal setting and in my dreaming. And I don't know if you can see this over here. This is actually, this is my dream home. And up there is actually the whole property. I have it all mapped out exactly how I want it. I just have this intuition that there are aspects of this house. It doesn't have to be exactly like that, but there are aspects of that house that when I live there, and in my mind, like I can already like imagine living there. I can always like already place myself there because I have it so perfectly mapped out. But I just have this intuition that like that is the space that I have to create for myself to be able to call in more things to myself, which is wild. Like I have no way of knowing this. And yet I know it and I have it on my wall. So anyway, I know this has been a very ADHD, and I mean, how fitting for intuition, right? Because it's not a linear thing. It bounces all over the place. It has weird things come up, blah, blah, blah. It has incredible people come into the conversation. But yeah, if you have intuition, and we all have it, I want you to start listening to it. I want you to start really getting in touch with it. So a couple things you can do is you can do a practice where you do 5 minutes of journaling from your head. And you just like the stream of consciousness, anything that comes up, like I'm writing from my head right now. I don't really know what's going on in my head. I like Cheetos, blah, 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 blah. Whatever comes out, great. 5 minutes, set a timer, done. Then we move it down. We do 5 minutes from the heart. And trust me, like this, when you do this, don't get freaked out if your handwriting changes. Don't get freaked out if you stop spelling correctly, if you're using shitty grammar. Remember, your heart center does not have a language center. Okay. That's all up here, but there's knowledge here. And so again, you do stream of consciousness from your heart. And sometimes it's not even in words. Sometimes you're just doodling pictures, right? And then of course, so 5 minutes, we bring it down into your gut. And we do 5 minutes of journaling from the gut. Another way you can get in touch with your intuition is meditation and walking away from all the fucking devices, like being away from them and being out in nature or just having quiet moments. Like let yourself be bored. Okay. I saw this last night. Edward Sheeran, the singer, doesn't have a cell phone. Legitimately does not have a cell phone. He has an email that he checks once a week. And the reason he does that is that like, it's too much work for him to respond to all the people who have his number from before he was famous, who like always want to be in conversation with him. And he found that he wasn't getting any ideas. His intuition couldn't come up. His inspiration couldn't come through. And so he makes sure that he's just always without a distraction. He lets himself be bored. Okay. I know it's not sexy, just like let yourself be bored, but it works. Anyway, with that, I hope this has been useful. And I want to give a big thank you to the Gazelle and to Northern State and to my dear friend Heather and to Yvonne and Chastity. Thank you all for being here. I hope this is useful. And I hope you have a little permission to use more intuition in your businesses. And if you want any help, I'm here. Anyway, I'm Katie McManus, business strategist and money mindset coach. I will see you tomorrow for my live. I will probably be talking about Bridgerton because the second half of the season is dropping and I fully plan on watching it before noon. Anyway, and hi, Ansa. Nice to see you. Sorry, we're just wrapping up, but this will be saved so you can go back and watch. Anyway, have a great night, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. Mwah. Bye.